Hey guys, Sky Hyper V here once again with another YouTube video to help educate and spread some information about investing, crypto, math, and all that good stuff. Today's topic is going to be the bid-ask spread. That is, how to buy and sell responsibly in the marketplace. To truly learn how to buy and sell assets for a reasonable price in any marketplace, whether that's in the crypto exchanges, stock exchange, commodities, futures, anything that brings buyers and sellers together in a marketplace, you have to understand the relationship between the bid and the ask. So let's explore it by first getting some terminology out of the way. What is a bid? These are buyers and what they're willing to pay for that particular asset. They are essentially bidding a price for that asset. What is an ask? That is what sellers are asking to be paid for that asset that they own. They are asking the price for that asset. The spread between the buyers and sellers, those price differences between what they're willing to exchange their goods at, is called the spread. It's commonly referred to as the bid-ask spread in most markets. Sometimes you'll see on exchanges, they'll just be sell orders and buy orders. We'll get those two compared and contrasted in a little bit once we visit the Cryptopia website. But essentially, the differential between those two is the spread. So why is it important to understand? Well, one of the things that makes a marketplace efficient is when buyers and sellers agree to a common price or something reasonable to both sides. That is the definition of liquidity. Something that's highly liquid is going to be easy to exchange in and out at fair and reasonable prices. So let's imagine selling an item on Craigslist, for example. So I've got this old, I don't even know if that's a phone, but it's a Nokia phone, all right? So I've got this old Nokia phone. And I'm the seller, and I'm asking, as the seller, I'm asking $100 for this phone. It's a pretty old phone. So the buyers in the market are only willing to pay $5. Because there's a large spread for this particular product, that is a $5 and $100 spread, that bid-ask spread is so wide, you would consider this Nokia phone to be highly illiquid. Okay? This is an illiquid product. That is, it is not liquid. Liquidity means flowing, right? You can think about it as a water or some type of material like that. If something is liquid, it tends to flow, right? From buyers to sellers. In this case, an asset that can flow between buyers and sellers quickly and easily and efficiently would be considered liquid. Now I've got the iPhone. Okay? Same Craigslist example. So I've got an iPhone. I'm the seller of this iPhone. I would put it out there for, say, some $500. However, buyers are bidding $475 for the same phone. This spread is fairly tight considering the large product, right? $25 spread on a $500 phone may not be considered too wide. Being a fairly tight bid-ask spread, we would consider the iPhone to be highly liquid. That means the higher liquidity a product has, the more likely that it will exchange hands at a reasonable price. Going back to my Nokia example, if I've got a Nokia phone that has the $95 spread between the buyers and sellers, the chances that we're going to exchange that phone at kind of in the mid-price, the middle between the bid and ask, is highly unlikely. If a seller wants $100 for that phone and buyers are only offering $5, the seller's probably not going to come down to 50, and the buyer's probably not going to go up to 50. So that product most likely will not exchange hands and therefore be considered illiquid. In our example of the iPhone, you've got a $25 bid-ask spread. The seller may come down to $490, $487. The buyer may come up to $487 without feeling like they're overpaying. The seller may not feel like they're getting undercut on a price, and they're more than likely able to exchange that product for $485 or $490 because it is liquid. Because the spread is much tighter, the chances of that product exchanging hands from the seller to the buyer is more likely, because they're much closer in agreement over the fair value of that asset. You can see in the Nokia's case, the two parties definitely do not agree on a fair value for that asset. The seller thinks that phone is worth 100, and buyers do not believe so. In the case of the iPhone, obviously much tighter, and so it will exchange hands much quicker. So let's look at Cryptopia for a second. We'll go over here to the Cryptopia's market page. And let's look at the BTC B3 market. B3 is my new favorite coin right now. So let's look at the sell orders and buy orders. Typically in an exchange, you would see bids and asks. That's the typical nomenclature, right? The terminology used on exchanges, at least from my world. I come from the equities and commodity space. But what we see a lot of times in the crypto space on these exchanges, just to make it very easy to understand for new investors, because bid and ask is not something that's probably very common when you're exchanging goods. So they just put sell orders and buy orders, right? But we know that the buyers are bidding this price and the sellers are asking this price. Sellers are typically always going to ask for more than what buyers are willing to pay, right? We saw that in the case of the Nokia and the iPhone example. Sellers are always going to put a little higher premium on their product, and they have to hope that the buyer is willing to come up to that, or they can meet in the middle if the bid-ask spread is not that far off from each other. Now let's talk about liquidity of this product. The current highest sell order, or sorry, the current lowest sell order is at 18 Satoshis, right? 18 sat. The highest, you can see how it's increasing here, because more than likely this order is going to get filled because someone's trying to sell it at 18. If I'm buying something, I'm more than likely wanting to buy it at 18 versus 26, right? So you're going to see these are less likely to get filled, but the orders are in the order book. And somebody has placed this order to sell off, 13 million B3s at 25 Satoshis. So this order here has almost close to 1 million B3s at 18 sats. That's what they put in as the order to sell. The current highest bid for this amount here, 3 million, is about 17 Satoshis. So the difference here in this bid and the ask is 1 Satoshi. That makes B3 a highly liquid product. You can exchange. You are more than likely, if you come into this marketplace and you want to buy B3, you're going to be able to buy it and maybe pay a Satoshi over what you really intended to. Like this guy here wants to buy it at 17. Maybe they let the order sit on the marketplace for a little while. If they don't get filled, meaning no sellers willing to come down, maybe the buyer comes up. And that's efficient marketplace, right? Because if you have a illiquid product, if this guy was at 100 Satoshis, and this guy was at 5, like in our Nokia example, these orders are going to sit here. Yeah, who's the other side that's going to budge first? And because the spread is so wide, the chances of the likelihood of meeting in the middle or finding that fair value is going to be less likely, and so the marketplace just sits there, and then no volume, and then that's the liquidity dries up, and it just gets wider and wider and wider. And you see that in crashes, which we'll talk about later. So we've established that B3 is a highly liquid product, 1 Satoshi wide bid-ask spread. This is great. This is the kind of stuff we want to see, right? If you see a wide marketplace, it's probably a product you don't want to trade, because every time you buy and sell, you're gonna get hit on that spread, meaning you got to meet them in the middle. The middle is far away from where you expect it to be. Like here, the middle is about half a Satoshi, right? So you're not going that far. You're going 1 full Satoshi to buy, or you're taking a hit on 1 Satoshi to sell. And so you're not taking that much of a hit. But when you sell or buy in an inefficient marketplace or a product that's highly illiquid, you're gonna constantly take a haircut, either side, and you're just gonna hurt yourself. So let's take B3 as an example, back to our paper over here. So let's clear our slate and start a new example. Let's assume that our coin B3 was at 50 sat. That's what it's trading at currently, in our example, of course. The buy side is bidding 45 sat, okay? This is the bid. That's what they're willing to buy it at. The sell side wants 50 sat, right? Remember I mentioned that the sell side's always gonna want to sell it for more, and then the buyers are gonna lowball, right? Same thing happens on Craigslist, same thing happens on eBay. That's just the market mechanics. So the sell side, the ask side, is asking 50 sats. So if you're a buyer, okay, if you're a buyer and you put in an order for 50 sat as your price, you're immediately going to get filled. There's no sitting around on the marketplace waiting for a fill on your order. You're going to get filled immediately because you essentially paid what the person was asking. Like in our Craigslist example, if I have an iPhone for $500 and you come and say, I'm offering you $500, the transaction is pretty much done, right? No one's going to sit there and haggle when you're already willing to pay what the seller is asking for. You just decide to take a haircut on that. But you did overpay. Now, if you're the seller, okay, so the buyer comes in here and pays that and gets immediately filled. If you're a seller and you know that the marketplace is typically off selling for 50, but you come in and put your order in for 45, you're going to get filled immediately as well. I mean, immediately, okay? Because there's a buyer out there. The order book says there is, okay? If the order book has this buyer at 16, this seller that has an order in place on the exchange for 17 Satoshis, if they bump theirs down to 16, they're going to fill this partially because it looks like they don't have the same amount. But well, actually, yeah, they want to buy a little bit less than this person's willing to sell. So they're going to get filled. All of their B3s will be filled at 16 Satoshis if this buy order gets replaced by the individual that has it on the exchange. They click and say, resubmit or cancel, and then they resubmit at 16, bam, they're going to be able to sell their B3. But they're holding tight here, right? And you can see, we lost about 1 Satoshi here from 1817 to now 1716. So you can see the marketplace is fluctuating as we speak. But it's still staying within a nice tight 1 Satoshi range, which, as I mentioned, the product is liquid. So let's get back to our example. If you hit those bids and the asks from the counterparty, you're going to get filled immediately. But that's not the point of the game. That's not how an efficient marketplace works. You don't immediately go up to somebody that's selling a product and offer exactly what they want. You don't immediately go up to a buyer and say, I'm willing to sell at your price. You have to haggle. That's called the mid price. Okay? So the mid is between the bid and the ask. So in our case, the bid is 45. The ask is 50. So somewhere around this 47 Satoshi range is your mid, right? That you could argue is the fair market value of this product at this time. Assuming the market participants stay within that 45-50 range, you could argue that within 5 Satoshis here, 2.5 on each side, buyers and sellers are more than likely able to settle at a 47 price and exchange goods. That would then be the new trading price for that particular asset. So imagine now that the buyer and seller meets in the middle at 46 or 47. That is an efficient marketplace. If you avoid, as a seller, hitting the buy order side just because you want to dump or sell the coins quickly, that patience and having it kind of work the middle, so to speak, right, the mid price, is called price discovery. And your order will sit on the exchange, everyone will see the order, and then they can mull it over whether they want to come up a tick or two. And you'll see people that are buying side. If you're selling B3, for example, don't take lowball offers, right? So let's talk about dumping for a moment. So when it comes to crypto and dumping coins into the market to quote unquote lock your profits, let's say sellers are necessary, right? Nobody should or is encouraged to hold any crypto asset forever. You should buy and you should sell and continue participating in the marketplace. But you have to sell responsibly. So let's go back to our example. If you want to sell a lot of coins in the marketplace and you hit that bid, let's say this is the buy order. If you hit that bid at 16, right, the seller here hits that bid at 16, all these buy orders are no longer going to continue at their current price. Because imagine you're a seller that you have now come down in price and the entire market now knows it. You believe that the fair value of your coins are 17. Everyone on the buy side doesn't agree, right? Especially this one here. This guy thinks it's 16. It's the fair market value for buying some batch of B3. If the seller wavers, doesn't exercise patience, and they go down in price, that sale will execute, right? You'll be able to sell your coins, that one big batch, for example, and now all the buyers just know that you took a lower offer, and what are they going to do? You think they're going to sit tight? They're going to offer even a lower price because you just came down from 17 to 16. It's like house negotiation, right? You got a $300,000 house and you offer 290 and they go, yeah, I think I take 290. And then you go, well, maybe how about 285? Because you already know they're wavering. And slowly you start affecting the valuation of that product. So when it comes to crypto coins like B3 and others, if you're going to sell responsibly, right? If you go from 17 down to 16, the entire market will adjust to your action. And everybody, all the buy side orders, you'll see the highest bid at 15. Because if you're selling at 16, no one's going to then offer 16. They're going to offer a Satoshi less. Because the buying side is typically more patient, right? No one's in a rush to buy under normal circumstances. When you put in a buy order, you usually have a lot more patience. When you're selling, you've got that greed and those emotions driving you to get that money, that fiat or the BTC or whatever else you're trying to convert it into. You're more than likely to be less patient and come down. So those buyers are just going to sit tight. And the lower you go, the lower goes the price of the coin. And so let's assume you have millions of coins, right? So you've got, let's say you've got 15 million coins that you want to sell. Here's our 15 million coins, right? We want to sell those. If you just put batches and batches of them on the exchange and you hit that buy order of 16, meaning you sell at 16, you're going to fill this 2.3 million BTC, B3 order. All of the buyers are then going to adjust to your move, your execution, and offer lower. So now you just sold 2.3 million coins at 16 sats. Now the buyers are at 15. So all these guys here, the 6 million, the 7 million, all these orders here. So what happens? You continue exercising impatience. You don't continue to use the marketplace the way it was intended and should be for fair valuations. So now you go ahead and fill that $6.7 million order or a million coin order at 15 sats. And now you have to go down and down and down to start filling all these orders, or the market is going to continue adjusting based on your action. And now the sell orders are going to be, they may still be tight because the buyers are going to keep adjusting down. But what happens is that's what happens in market sell-offs and panics, right? Is a large sell order occurs, but those orders are not going to get all filled at once. You know, that's how crashes happen. Is they just get filled in batches, and that causes other people to panic, and then they start selling off their coins. And when you're in a panic, remember I said when you're in no one's in a panic to buy, so the buyers are patient. When you're in a panic to sell, that's the impatience. Whenever there's a panic, it's always to sell. You know, market never crashes up, right? Maybe in crypto, sometimes you see these crazy spikes, but typically in most markets, you see crashes downward. The velocity of the down move is a lot more than the velocity of an up move. So if you cause that type of market reaction, you're actually doing two things. You're hurting yourself, first and foremost, because you just took an asset that was 17 Satoshis, or 19 or 20 or 50, and you've driven it all the way down, maybe half the valuation. So as you're dumping more and more of your assets, they have less buying power. You have these 15 million coins in your wallet, and you think that they're all at 17 Satoshi. So you do your calculations in your, on your workstation and go, wow, I'm pretty rich, right? I can buy all these things. But when you enter the marketplace, it's a completely different story. You're selling some at 16, some at 15, some at 14. You may get all the way down to 10 or 9 or 8 or whatever it may be before you offload all your coins and or your asset, and you essentially hurt yourself because you didn't get what you thought you had when you first calculated this number here. But you hurt yourself and you hurt the coin, and it takes time to recover from things like this. So the responsible way to sell coins in the marketplace is through patience and price discovery. Stick to the mid or higher when you sell. Don't waver. Let the buyer come to you. If they're patient, you need to be patient. If you're selling, try to get the most that you can, but that again requires patience. Know that the moment you show weakness, once you show a weakness in the marketplace, you offer your coins for a lower price or any product, the market will adjust to your move and bid lower. Proper execution of orders should take time. You shouldn't be filled immediately because that means you took a haircut. Proper execution should take time. Market participants should all try to get the best price without hurting each other, and that will lead to a stable asset or currency. Don't let greed and emotions control your execution on the order page. When you get over here, be smart. Look at the prices. Figure out, this is like any other product. You're shopping, right? You're shopping around. There's no different here. You do that in the rest of rest of our lives. We need to exercise that at the marketplace here. So don't let greed and emotions control your execution on the order page. If everyone learns to exercise patience and execute price discovery, the market will be a much more efficient and stable place. Happy trading, everyone. Leave some comments below. I love doing these videos. I've got a lot more content I want to throw your way over the next few weeks. We're going to get into some mathematics of crypto in a few videos here, and we'll continue on this journey of education. Peace.